Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. We couldn't ask for a better day. Every April, we come together to recognize National Child Abuse Prevention Month. I want to thank and recognize all the County Child and Family Wellbeing Department staff for all their incredible work to help families and protect our children. One of the most powerful ways to help children thrive is by supporting the families before they reach a crisis point. Prevention works best when it reaches out to as many people as possible, which is why I'm here today with Promises to Kids in the County Child and Family Wellbeing Department. We know firsthand by working together, we raise the most awareness and have the greatest impact on families. While we're here today to raise awareness, it's more about inspiring action and creating systems that prevent child abuse from happening in the first place. We must continue to focus on supporting families consistently and with the focus to ensure, it's a little windy, to ensure that all children receive the best care. Since 2023, the Child and Family Wellness Being Department has expanded prevention and protective services, building community-based partnerships to support the families in our community. Our partners, like Promises to Kids, have been critical in these efforts. In fact, our decade-long partnership demonstrates what's possible when we work together. By using family-centered approaches, we can create real change and improve the lives of the children and families throughout San Diego County. I want to thank Promises to Kids and their incredible CEO, Tanya Torresanian. I'm sorry, I butcher every name that comes along. Thank God I've had 56 or 65 years to practice Anderson. And all our partners that do the heavy lifting that's necessary to reduce child abuse in our communities. Every child deserves to grow up in a safe, nurturing home. Together, we can work to end child abuse and neglect. For these reasons, on behalf of all my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, Tanya, I'd like to present this on behalf of all our supportive organizations. This honoring Child Abuse Prevention Month, and it names April as Child Prevention Month throughout San Diego County. Tanya, you and your staff and all our partners do such an incredible job. We're just grateful to have you in our community, and I know that you have a few words to share with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Anderson, for your leadership and support. Good afternoon. On average, 5 children die every day in the United States as a result of child abuse and neglect. During National Child Abuse Prevention Month, we stand here in solidarity to show our support for those who have been victims of child abuse. Many are foster children who are victims through no fault of their own, and we must do everything we can to prevent further harm. In some way, every person is affected by the issue of child abuse. What you see here behind me is San Diego's Pinwheels for Prevention Garden. The purpose of this garden is to honor those who have experienced child abuse and to amplify our voice to say that we will all be part of the solution. Our community has come together to plant seeds of hope by purchasing blue pinwheels or becoming prevention partners. At Promises to Kids, we are dedicated to creating a brighter future for San Diego's foster children. Funds raised today and throughout the month will benefit foster children through our programs, which provide guidance, support, and resources with the aim to break the cycle of child abuse. For over 40 years, Promises to Kids has supported foster children from the moment they come into care on through adulthood. We ensure that every child knows that they are loved, cared for, and safe. Through direct services and supports, Promises to Kids provides foster youth with necessary support services. However, our work is not possible without the support from the community. 58% of adults who were mentored as youth say that mentoring has supported their mental health, and 74% say that mentoring significantly contributed to their success later in life. That's why one of our core programs is mentoring for foster youth, starting as early as 5 years old and going on through adulthood. That's one way that you as a community member can get involved to make a true and lifelong impact on those who have been victims of abuse and neglect. 1 in 3 former foster youth will be homeless during their first 2 years of exiting foster care. Promises to Kids Foster Future program, a new pilot that provides critical guaranteed income funding alongside services like therapy, case management, and financial literacy. That pilot program just started in January. It's dedicated to prevent homelessness right here in our community for 50 former foster youth. I'm grateful for our continued partnership with the County of San Diego to bring this issue to the forefront. Without the support of Child and Family Wellbeing Department and the Board of Supervisors, our work at Promises to Kids would not be possible. We've had a partnership since our very beginning, and one that I hope will continue into the future. I ask you to join us in our efforts to support child abuse prevention. For more information on ways to get involved, visit promises2kids.org. I now have the pleasure of introducing Destiny Cole, a former foster youth herself and a Promises to Kids Guardian Scholar. Destiny?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Destiny Cole, and I'm a proud Guardian Scholar with Promises to Kids. It's an honor to be here today to share a bit about my journey, where I've come from, where I'm going, and the people who've helped me along the way. Like many foster youth, my story didn't start easy. I entered care because of difficulties my family was going through. At a young age, I had to face things no child should ever have to face. I was in care from the age of 4 to 5, and I re-entered care from 15 to 18. During that time, I experienced mental, emotional, and physical abuse. At that time, I did not fully understand how to process what I was going through. Being in the system often felt isolating. I moved around a lot and struggled with finding stability emotionally, academically, and socially. I felt misunderstood and at times invisible. But through those challenges, I learned something powerful. I am resilient. I realized that I could still rise even in the darkest moments. Today, I'm proud to say I've carved a path for myself in the corporate construction realm. It hasn't always been easy, but I've moved forward with purpose and passion. I've turned pain into motivation. A huge part of that transformation has come from my involvement with Promises to Kids. I'm a part of their Guardian Scholars program, and honestly, it's been a lifeline. On top of the financial support, it's about mentorship, having someone believe in you, being a part of a community that truly cares, and feeling safe when that's something I haven't always felt. Through Promises to Kids, I've had the opportunity to be involved in groups and mentorship, which have helped me grow as a leader and find my voice. I've also been able to explore career opportunities I never would have imagined. Beyond the programs, one of the most meaningful things has been the relationships I've built. I've connected with mentors who inspire me and peers who understand what it's like to walk this path. That shared experience creates a bond like no other. We lift each other up, and that kind of support is priceless. I want to raise awareness about child abuse prevention to ensure no child ever feels as alone and worried as I once did. There were times that I felt neglected, belittled, and invisible. The mental and physical abuse I endured would be an easy reason for me to give up. I chose to stand up and speak out and help others who went through what I did. Today, I can proudly say I've reached a place of professional and financial stability. I've built a life I once only dreamed of. A career I love, independence and confidence in my future. It's proof that your past does not define your potential. This has only been possible because of people in our community who believed in me and invested in my future. Looking ahead, I dream of starting a career in project management, being a homeowner, and continuing the fight for justice for my foster brothers and sisters who need hope to move forward. Each and every one of you watching right now can join me in giving children that hope. Thank you for listening and for supporting this important cause. You are helping people like me turn survival into success, and that changes everything. I want to pass the mic over to Marianne Pascal, a resource parent.
Hello, everybody. My name is Marianne Pascal. I've been a resource parent for over 35 years. I've had over 400 foster children through my home. And I think one of the most important thing to spread the word, to have more people be resource parents, is helping the children with their trauma. And most importantly, remember the objective is reunifying families. So we not only work with the children, we also work with their whole family. It's very important to understand trauma. I also work for Grossmont College to educate resource parents on trauma and different things that we can get and different resources. I'd also like to thank Promises for Kids. For all the years that I've been doing this and they've been in existence, they have helped our foster youth tremendously. It can go for equipment that they might want, a dance class they want to go to, a camp they want to go to, mentoring as they talked about before. Promises for Kids has been instrumental to helping resource homes and, most importantly, foster children get everything that they need, that every child deserves. I think it's really important to have that commitment, understand the whole picture of working not only with the child but also with the family, and making sure that we get all the resources for our our foster children. And it's one of the most fulfilling thing a person can do. It's a lot of work to be a resource parent, but we have a whole community around us. And as long as we're aware of all the opportunities we have and all the different people that can help us, then it's going to be successful. And I really love listening to Destiny because, you know, we do make a difference, but we only make a difference if all of us are working together for that child. So again, I want to say thank you to Promises for Kids, and I would like to turn this over to Alfredo Guarado, and he is our Director of Child and Family Wellbeing. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. Today we come together to shine a light on child abuse and neglect, an issue that impacts every community and requires all of us to act. National Child Abuse Prevention Month was created to bring this issue out of the shadows and into the forefront of public awareness where it belongs. Each year, over 3 million cases of child abuse are reported across the United States. And each and every one of us has a role to play in preventing abuse and supporting our families. All families experience challenges raising children, and they need the support of their communities, systems, and services to get through the tough times. Sometimes families reach a breaking point. When they do, it can unfortunately result in child abuse or neglect. Our role is to intervene early and support them before it reaches that point. San Diego's vision is clear. Families thrive when they are surrounded by a connected community, one that restores and nurtures responsive relationships and environments. I encourage everyone in our community to join the Child and Family Wellbeing Department in our county and community partners to bring hope to families through equitable, trauma-informed prevention and protection services. I'm grateful for our long-standing partnership with Promises to Kids and the Board of Supervisors, who have remained committed to preventing child abuse and supporting healing for children and families in San Diego. Today, I'm especially honored to share this space with partners who have dedicated themselves to supporting children, like Marianne and Destiny, a former foster youth whose voice and lived experience have helped guide our continued improvements in family strengthening. Over the past decade, we have seen tremendous progress. Child abuse and neglect cases have reduced by 50%. Entries into foster care have decreased by 67%. These numbers are a reflection of positive impact of prevention efforts, early support, and partnerships grounded in care and compassion. When we work together, we can make it easier for families to access the resources they need to thrive and grow stronger. One of these resources is just a phone call away. 211 San Diego is available 24 hours, 7 days a week to connect families to essential services. And if you suspect that a child may be experiencing abuse or neglect, please don't hesitate to call our child abuse hotline at 1-800-344-6000. Your voice could be the one that makes the difference. All of us here today and so many more across the county are united in the commitment to create a thriving San Diego where all children are safe, supported, and loved. As we close today's event, I want to take a moment to reflect on what you've heard and what we can do next. We've been reminded that child abuse prevention is not the responsibility of one person or one agency. It's a community effort. Whether you're a caregiver, a teacher, a neighbor, or simply someone who cares, your actions matter. This fiscal year alone, the Child Abuse Hotline has received over 38,000 calls. 18,000 of those calls became reports assigned for investigation involving about 36,000 children. These aren't just numbers, these are children who need our protection, our care, and our commitment. But there is hope. Since the creation of the Child and Family Wellbeing Department, the focus has been and will continue to be on strengthening our families, creating equitable access to support, and working together to address challenges before they become a crisis. Anyone can help. Call 211 if you need to be connected to family resources. If you suspect child abuse, again, please call the Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-344-6000. As we leave here today, I challenge each one of us to carry this message forward. Every child deserves to grow up safe, supported, and loved, and together we can make that a reality. Thank you for being here today.
Great work. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Need a place to put it? That was an inspiring speech. You know, you must know.
I would love to get a
For all the people that mentored you along the way, you are that mentor. I mean, I'm sure you know, because people have got to be good at it. And thank you for filling the void. Thank you. So many.
Yes, and we'll do a quick
Yeah, ask them.
photo.